Yeah, that'd be
Spooge go?
awesome. Spooge. He
Yeah,
wasn't available.
He said he'd be 10 minutes late last I saw, and then never showed up.
Nah, that was last week.
No.
He
Oh,
said,
shit.
yeah, he said he wouldn't be there for training.
Oh, it's because Steve replied, "Me too, running late at work." He must have done the same as me and not Fucking hell. It's a good job some people are paying attention. Oh, it's because Steve replied, "Me too, running late at work." He must have. Yeah. Cool.
What?
No, it's good that we did fighting patrol stuff tonight, because as good as it is to disappear and fight on your own terms sometimes. You didn't see them, did you, when they did the artillery thing in selection?
No. No, I didn't actually. Yeah, my PC just
Shut out.
Yeah.
Because they went for the assault, started moving up the hill. I went in as a fucking enemy soldier, hunted them down, located Spooge, shot him.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. And then I died about 3 minutes after that.
Well, when they went up for the assault, I thought, right, well, it's a deliberate attack. They're going to commit, and they got within 50 to 100 meters of the objective area. So it's like they're committed now, So I moved a squad in to attack them a little bit because they radioed in which direction they were coming from. I was like, well, we did say no fucking grids, so it's a good assumption. A good assumption that the enemy... Well, it's only because Spooge at the start said, I'm assuming that's because the enemy might be listening to our radio. Yeah, and that's what I've always tried to do. If they start making things up, I will try and work around that. So because they'd suggested that, I was like, right, well, the enemy are now listening to your radio. So when they said we're coming in from the southwest, I moved the squad in the southwest. Right. And, I didn't tell them just to direct attack. I just edited their patrol path a little bit. And sure enough, they ran into them and they pulled back. And I was like, well, it's a deliberate assault. I was like, I could be well within my rights to drive that truck off now and fail the objective because they've been alerted. Whereas, there is... But then when we asked them in the debrief, they're like, oh yeah, but we've always been taught to pull back. I was like, well, no, Bones teaches you guys the principles. He doesn't teach you set routines you have to do every time. He teaches you the how and the why so that you can understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then apply it where it's applicable. And they were like, oh yeah, but we've only ever done fall back and then circle around and come in. And I was like, wow, that's a problem then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That kind of did occur to me fairly recently. It wasn't on that occasion. I was kind of thinking, to show establish that baseline or whatever, but then you can fight through. I do actually say that nearly every time we do those contact drills, but I don't actually show them it.
But I don't know if it's because they're not confident enough to do that. I don't think they realise, and I always try and tell them, look, when we were in Phantom, and I know I bring it up a lot, but it was a good example. There was 4 of us, and we were taking on a force that was like 20 to 30 strong sometimes even more.
Yeah.
But we were winning because we knew what we were doing. We moved from cover to cover, we kept the fire rate up, we were aggressive about it. If we did something, we committed to it. Yeah. If I said, right, we're going in for the attack, we all committed to that.
Yeah.
And it was. So I was like, there's no reason you can't do it. And to be fair, on Saturday, although I was a bit disappointed, and they picked the one route that I hadn't thought of in the mission. So they got a pretty much free ride. And but when they kicked it off, and we were across the river from the enemy, when they kicked it off, the rate of fire that went down, I was like, fucking hell, fair play, fellas, that is some going. So that was really aggressive, and unfortunately the mission was technically not sound, so I fucked up from there, but that was all my fault. But fair play to them there. That was quite a good example of a deliberate assault. I thought when they started sneaking around in the forest with their silencers and all that, I was like, they're just going to fucking try and sneak onto the bridge and plant their demolition and walk off. I was like, where's the fun? I was like, would you do that, would you?
Probably, yeah, but...
I've given you 3 boats with a fucking 50 cal and a G&G on it. I mean, I want you going blazing right up to the bridge, tracer flying everywhere. I almost wanted to die when I was building the mission. I was like, I hope I get shot straight away so I can go into spec cam and record this. Because that'd be awesome fucking footage.
Yeah.
For, like, promo of the clan. But I always laugh at Duke when he makes missions. I say, you're doing it again, mate. You're trying to... You built this little story in your head and it never plays out that way. And I do exactly the same every time. So they went the one route I hadn't put any enemies in. I was like, pricks. It's like, why didn't I think? Yeah. So we'll play that one again on Sunday anyway. If you're around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
I think this weekend.
Don't say you're not.
I'm away the weekend after.
That's the first campaign mission.
What is?
Next weekend. Yeah. Oh. You can always postpone it, mate. I can make another one for next weekend if you need. Or maybe do some MSO testing if it's got that far along.
Yes, 3rd, 4th, yeah.
Yeah.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah.
In fact, I need to have a word with Duke about that actually, because we're approaching Christmas, aren't we? So we're probably going to take like a 3-4 week interim.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to be playing over Christmas, are they?
Probably not.
Well, me and Doug.
Yeah.
So, fun times. Yeah, I was just thinking it might be worth just postponing the campaign until January, and then there's no point in doing like 1-2 missions and then taking.
Let's
2
really
or 3
focus
weeks
on
off
those lights now and hold pole position.
I've forgotten my words.
Green.
Although it could kind of work if you did it, because if it's the one that I sent over to Duke, the campaign was going to start off with a few kind of intel SF type missions, and then it would build up from there. So you could do those kind of bits,
and
then leave it a couple of weeks, and then it's right. Okay, well, you've now established it all. Got people in place.
if we can time that okay, then yeah, that'd work. Yeah, natural place to stop, I suppose, for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I just don't want to get halfway through a story-driven sort of section of the campaign, the intel-driven bit, and then 3 weeks later, right? Why are we in this town again?
Right, well, I might play Project Cars tomorrow night.
Yeah, I should have it downloaded by then.
Find a controller.
Mouse and keyboard. Controllers, yeah, that would be cool. I don't know, you say it would be insane, but until you've used them, Duck, you don't realise just how irritating they can be.
Yeah, exactly.
Strap one to your foot. Well, I've noticed in Onward, I don't know if you get it, but when you try, if the cock and handle of your weapon's on the right-hand side of the weapon, which most of them are, apart from the M4s and the M16s, when you reach over with your left hand to cock in it, do the circular bits at the top of your two controllers like collide?
Crash into each other,
yeah. And then sometimes, or most of the time even for me, they push the one that's cocking the weapon out enough for the game to go, oh, you've moved your hand away, and it only half cocks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I haven't got around in the chamber, so... So Glenn taught me a trick. He said, do it as if you were doing it with your pinky. on your left hand, and he says it keeps them clear of each other. But then it just feels unnatural in my head. My head's like, I'd have snapped my finger off by now on a fucking AK trying to cock it with this.
Yeah. Oh, that's good thinking. Let me try that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
try
that
that.
the other day with the Onward. Need to try it with the little noob tube thing and have another go.
I'm not 100%.
With the noob tube.
Yeah, I think the stock isn't sturdy enough really. I need
That's our
to
second warning for
invest
cutting the
a bit of
track.
time to see if I can find a good position and then just glue it into place or something permanently, because it moves occasionally and it doesn't feel natural. I don't know, but it might just be because I'm used to playing without it. It's cool. I like the riot shield anyway. As soon as I bought it, they released that, and I was like, oh, can't use the riot shield with the new tube. That thing's insane.
You're leading by 5 seconds. Good gap. Good job.
Yeah, that'd be a good one to use for those close quarters type. Like that last one. It's just kind of
Suburbia. Yeah. He's going to be adding a bunch of new maps over the course of time soon, so hopefully you'll get around to that quicker, because I think that's what's killing it for me.
What's that?
The maps, yeah, there's only like, well, I don't like, as much as that open desert one is cool, it's so easy just to pin the enemy team down really early on and then that's it. And that subway map is a bit more fun, but like you say, it's way too fast paced for the game. You kind of just need this sort of slight, it needs more of an armor sort of pace to it. You know, you take your time, plan your attack, maneuver. So yeah. Start a onward clan bones. I like that. No. You bought me a £5 game, Doug. I'm not going to buy you an 800 quid headset.
So
Great work, mate. The pace is really strong. No mistakes.
says
We're building a good gap to second.
What? PC.
Xbox steering wheel should work with PC.
I found a better one. 4-wheel recommendations for newcomers to VR sim racing.
I don't want easy mode though, Bones. Jump in the deep end. Balls deep. I had my steering wheel out a while back, a couple of clans back in Armour for whenever we did ground moves. When I knew a mission had one, I'd purposely be like, I'll be driver, and I'd have it set up for the mission start, and it was horrific. It just doesn't work in the slightest.
Good to see what these do.
I doubt it.
Gap to P2 is 7 seconds. He's still chasing, so protect that gap.
Your eyes would get fucking sore and all bleary before you even made it to the objective though. It takes us like 2 hours. Made me laugh earlier when you were like, yeah, I think if you walked everywhere it would take you forever. That's what we used to do in Arma 2. Used to spend like an hour and a half getting to the objective, like 20 minutes of action. It was just...
That's great pace. Love your work.
It was good though.
It's alright, yeah.
We used to just, like you said, the suspense built up massively,
Yeah.
and then you'd get to know the guys really well because you'd all have you'd all be playing grab fanny with a guy in front of you and all that, and dicking about and fucking, you're taking the piss out of each other. It was good atmosphere, but I don't know. I don't think I'd rush home in my Saturday night involved walking for an hour and a half and then.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. In the town, why not? They're not that big.
That's what I was thinking.
I think you'll naturally. That's another good thing about MSO. You'll naturally find that. I say you probably know already, but the guys will naturally sort of find that when to do what thing, because it's all open. You can do what you want. So you could full on sprint through the sections if you want, or the sectors, but
Right, yeah. I can just... yeah, we could do different things. I was also thinking, you'll like this, Doc. It's doing like a sniper selection thing. Do like a sniper training and a sniper selection.
Okay.
So I think it'd be, what you could do is essentially you'd have like 4 teams setting up an OP, setting up 4 separate OPs, and then because the main part of sniping is that you have to be able to stalk into position, so that sniper has to move into two different firing points, stalk into those positions, and